Hello, my name is Athenia Rodney, CEO and founder of Juneteenth NYC. This is a special invitation for you to attend with Juneteenth NY. We're thrilled to announce that this year's celebration promises to be bigger and better than ever before. Join us for an unforgettable experience filled with a wide array of exciting performances, delightful vendors, mouth-watering food trucks and vendors, an exclusive fashion show, a rally at Barclays Steps, a free bus ride with health drink tastings. Don't miss that. For those of you with little ones, don't worry, we've got you covered also. Juneteenth NY 2023 is the event for all ages. We'll be featuring a dedicated kids zone so that your young ones can join in on the fun. So why wait? Grab your free tickets. Yes, free. It doesn't cost anything, but we do need you to register so that we can prepare for the amount of people that will be in attendance on the weekend. So we look forward for you to go to our website at www.juneteenthny.com, or you can go to our Instagram at JuneteenthNY, like us, follow us, engage with our page. We'd love to see you participating. It warms my heart. Trust me, it does. And then go to our link tree and you'll get a direct link to register. This will be a monumental occasion. We can't wait to see you there. Thank you and have a good one.
Greetings, and good afternoon, Juneteenth family. Welcome to another weekly edition of our Lunch and Learn. So for today's Lunch and Learn, this is super exciting because we have a return guest. We have Deborah Cassanova of Sheena Natural Designs. She's back with us to talk about the growth in her business, the progress, what she's added, what she's experienced, and let's see what she can share with the community today. Let's bring Deborah on up. Hey, Deborah, how you doing? Welcome back.
Hi, Jamie. I'm good. Thank
I
you.
love the hair. I love the hair. If I'm correct, I believe the color is a little different than when you were here
Yes,
last time.
yes, 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 yes. I needed a
Beautiful. I
little
love it.
change.
I think that's what made me ask if you were still in Jamaica. I was like, maybe she's still in Jamaica, getting to live this luxurious life, creating and whatnot. But it definitely has your island vibe, and you look very relaxed and well rested. Welcome back, sis. Thank you for joining us again.
Sure. Good to be back.
So, Sheena Natural Designs. I know when you were here last, we were talking about the fact that you took one of those risks. You're one of the people that during COVID, you kind of started something new, a new baby during a chaotic time in the world. And now we're moved past it a little bit. While we still have a lot of chaos going on in our world, it's a
Yes.
different set of chaos. It's one that still allows for us to move a little bit more than that one. And we can get around and be with people. So tell me what in the process between then and now, what has been the biggest change? We're not going to dive into your products yet. Let's talk about the business side of things, like what progress really looks like for someone when you come and share something and then come back a year later and then you have some growth. Let's talk about that.
So, sorry. Like you mentioned, I started during COVID making masks and stuff, masks and bonnets. Since then, it's kind of it has its challenges, right? Whether it was financial or um, being or having the strength to stay consistent, because there were times when I was like, oh my gosh, what is going on? Like, something needs to happen. So there were times when it was great, and there were times when it wasn't so great, and I just had to kind of push through and have faith and hope that it would work out. So I think that for me was like the biggest part, because there were times when I was just like, okay, maybe I need to take a step back and start over. So I think for me, that between then and now is just having the strength and the motivation to just continue moving on, continue forward.
I love that. I love that this topic has come up because I know that there are times that many of us different, no matter what area of business you're in, no matter whether you're a service, whether it's a product, there can be rough times and times that make you feel like throwing everything in. So I know you mentioned faith. Outside of faith, what would you say are some of the tools that you use when you're in that space? Like, what does using faith and having faith look like to you? Having faith can look like something different for everybody. For some, it may be prayer. For some, it may be doing a lot of the action work, and then the reward. They say if we put in the work, we get blessed. What are some of the tools that you use during that time that you find challenging?
So, like for me, it's like my community, right? So, my group of friends, my family, they're like my motivation. They pray for me, they pray with me, so it's all surrounded by my community, like my community pushing me forward and kind of, giving me the pat on the back and saying, you think, you're not doing as good as you think you are, but you are. You just, nothing happens before it's time, pray and ask God, and we're always here. And let me tell you, I have my own personal prayer warriors, okay?
Love
Because
it.
there are times when I'm just like, listen, I don't know. And they're there to be like, okay, let's just get in a session, so there's that for me.
I love that. I love that. So community. So community, and what I hear is community support. There's an organization that I follow down here in Atlanta, and the a young lady named Dr. Key Howman. She has pinned a hashtag that she calls "Support is a Verb," and I have it that it's one of the bigger action verbs that are needed to be activated upon in our communities. Support is something that without the support we can't get to where we need to go and grow. So it's beautiful when you have that. That's a beautiful tool to have in your toolbox. And during the times when you have those folks showing up for you, while waiting, what are some of the things that you do for yourself for the business, like research? What do you spend that time doing while you're allowing people to support you, while you're doing, like, what is doing the work on your side look like?
So my portion is more of researching, okay, what is my next product gonna be? Like, what does it look like? What are the needs of my customers? So what I kind of do is I do my little research, and then I reach out to like my friends to say, um, I'm trying this out. Can you test it? And sometimes I want to be in the testing phase, and they're like, no, 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 just put it out, just put it out. Like, you did all the research, we think it's good, so just put it out. And I can say that's what I've been doing for the most part. I like to test before I put it out, but they're like, no, no testing, just head first. So um that has kind of been the process for the most part.
I love that. I love that you actually curved the conversation there because I definitely wanted to go there. And we've had a few guests recently that have product based businesses and it's always interesting as a jewelry designer wanting to know how everybody does their process in deciding when and what to add to your line, because when we live in a world where there's demand for so many things, it can be hard to kind of lock in and make something your niche. Or we're always recommended to find our niche, our demographic, our customer, where I find that sometimes people are kind of asking for so many different things, and
Yes.
it can be hard to kind of decide that. So what do you use to support you in the process of deciding, like outside of them, like you doing the research testing? What is it that what's your goal when you're adding something to your line?
So I think of it from a personal aspect, like, if I am this customer, how does this benefit me? Like, for instance, um, there's this new tumbler that was created for my brand. It was originally called Soulful Sips Faith Edition, but I since renamed it Daily Reminders Faith Edition. And I kind of list some of like the scriptures that kind of helped me through, right? So I think of it like, okay, everybody, the front might be happy, everything is good, but sometimes in reality, with everything that is going on in the world, that is not always the case, right? So for instance, my Tumblr, and I'm gonna just show you. So for instance, this Tumblr, right? Like some of the scriptures on here, like I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. That's a big thing for me because I grew up on that scripture. um the Lord is my refuge and my strength, because as I said before, there were times when I was just like, okay, it's time to throw the towel in. And after like learning these new processes and experimenting and saying, okay, this is what works. And you know like these scriptures as have kind of kept me grounded, right? For want of a better word. So I think it's more about putting yourself in your audience's shoe to kind of say, what are their needs? How will this benefit them?
I love that. I love that. Got you. So I'm super excited to see some of the pieces that you have added to your line. So while we continue our discussion, you can also just start to actually, I want to give you the can start to share because the conversation is really a look at the business progress. And I would like for you to share like what your scope of the business's progress.
So since we last met, I've transitioned. um so like I mentioned, earlier on, like I started out with my sewing machine, right? And then I discovered the Cricut machine, and it was downhill from there, right? So I kind of ventured into t-shirts, and then now I ventured into tumblers, which is a whole new process of called sublimation, where you print stuff on different items, whether it's fabric, whether it's tumblers, any type of material, you're able to sublimate on it. Instead of the weeding process, like when I'm making t-shirts, instead of weeding vinyl, some people look at it like, oh my gosh, that is tedious. But for me, it's kind of relaxing because, I take the time and I put all my pieces together and I just go through the process. So the newest process that I've started doing, like I mentioned, is sublimation. And like I kind of showed earlier, is one of the tumblers that I'm very proud of, because it's a lot of trial and error. There are a lot of things that can happen during the baking process, because that's how the images are put onto whatever material it is by applying heat. So whether that's baking it or ironing it on, is different processes. So I created this tumbler, the Daily Reminders Faith Edition tumbler. I want to make sure that you're able to see it.
Can you raise it a little more?
Yeah.
Okay, beautiful.
So it has like a bunch of different Bible scriptures on it. And then I'm mostly driven. So the type of products that or things that I'm drawn to are like motivational and Christian type things. Because I was raised in the church, so I guess that's a big part of me as well. So I have this one. So this is a frosted glass tumbler. So it's for cold drinks, right? It comes with a straw and stuff. And this is an insulated tumbler. So this one you can do hot or cold. And let me tell you, it works. Okay. Sometimes you might see something in a store, you're like, I don't know. When it says it keeps it cold, it keeps it cold. Like this is my personal tumbler, right? And I put ice in here, maybe I want to say yesterday morning, and today you can still hear the
Oh
ice
wow.
is. You understand what I'm saying? It
Yeah,
really
it's
works.
hard to find those kind of tumblers anymore. They used to
Exactly,
be a
that
little
does
bit more
what it
readily
says.
available. Now that
Ex-
again, one of those areas that's saturated when you find the different levels of things. So now sometimes, like you said, you can be in that store and think, oh, woo, it's only $4. And then you get home and you're like, oh,
Oh,
I need these $4.
exactly, exactly. Exactly. And so like this is one of my more recent ones from the Library of a Banned Book Reader. This is more focused on like what is happening now, where books that we grew up on, books that were mandatory for us to read, are now being banned in different parts of the country, right? Even as much as the poem that was read, Amanda Gorman's poem that was read at the inauguration, that's being banned. So this is kind of like my take on, what benefits there are to reading a book. So I have this one, and of course we can't forget our little ones, little Miss Juneteenth,
Oh,
to show them, that okay, nothing is wrong with your hair, nothing, you are perfect just the way you are. So I have this one, and then of course, faith over fear. We have to remember, with God, all things are possible kind of situation.
yeah.
So there's that, and then I have the special edition just for Juneteenth,
Mm.
the
Oh,
Juneteenth
lovely.
tumbler, and I'm gravitated to colors as well. So as you can see, like majority of my tumblers, they're faith based, they're colors, and the same goes for like my t-shirt. So for instance, I have this one, believe in yourself, because I've had to um pull this out a couple times,
Yeah.
when I get down and out, I've had to kind of dig in and say, you got this kind of situation.
I love that. I do have one question though, because I am a boy mom and a mom of only one child. So I don't have a Miss Juneteenth, but I do have a Mr. Juneteenth. Is there a cup that's available for people who have boy children who may want to?
Yes, 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 yes.
Uh,
Everything can be created. Like, it's there. I just didn't do it on the cup yet.
got,
This is
gotcha.
just a little snippet of the my variety.
I love that. So question for you. Let's go into back into the business conversation of it. So what are some of the challenges that you find in being a small business owner and in getting your product out there? What are some of the
So
wins and some of the challenges?
so for me, right? Um, for me, that would be marketing, right? How do I market? And now everything is Instagram or Facebook, and they say you have to post 3 times a day or every day, and I don't do that, right? Because sometimes you're so focused on creating the product that you're not so into, okay, let me just capture this, because you're in the moment. You're not thinking about, oh, I need to record it. This is a post, or everything is content kind of situation. Like, right, you're not thinking that, you're just thinking, okay, this is what I'm working on. Let me put the time in it, and juggling both. So I
Mm,
think for me, the biggest piece is marketing and kind of getting it out there. I'm getting it out there, but that's on referral, right?
gotcha.
Or if if I post something and somebody happens to say, like, ever so often, so because I try to post like maybe every other day sometimes, right? And even that is a stretch. So so that for me is like, you know the biggest portion, as well as like the finances. Like, sometimes trying to say, okay, do I want to invest in getting this new machine? Like, how will it benefit the business? Like,
Mhm.
just kind of pulling the trigger and say, okay, let me just do this, and not second guessing yourself.
Yeah, I was going to say I'm familiar with the Cricut machine and I had invested in one at a period, and for me it didn't actually end up fitting in the way that I thought it would. So it ended up being an investment that wasn't worth it for me, but with all of the people that I know that do tumblers, t-shirts, cards, multiple other things, things for the wall, for the house. I have this, as a matter of fact, this amazing piece right here. I believe that this was created with, like, if not the cricket, then the silhouette. And I wasn't. I'm making jewelry. I wasn't trying to create anything like this. So cricket
It's
wasn't for
nice though. It's nice. Yeah,
it's
because it cuts everything. It cuts everything.
I'm just like, it was an amazing product for me. And I thought that I would be able to cut leather easily and it would help me mass produce something. And yeah, that never happens. So I can definitely relate to that need to like really sit down and really look at what you're gonna do with something or with a machine. It's like it can definitely, for a person like you, when I see that tumbler, when I see the shirt, when I see the added tumblers, I know that that's a gem for you. That was an actual. It becomes a asset versus a liability. Whereas when I bought my Cricut, it literally became a dust collector. So it was nothing but a liability.
Right. So a little story that was for me too. So because I used to cut like all my designs, I used to cut them with my hand, like cut them out. And my partner was like, you're gonna at some point have to switch this up, right? I was like, no, because then it's not personal anymore. It's just like just doing it, right? So he got me a Cricut and I had it for like a year before I
Wow.
opened it. And he was just like, so we gonna use this thing or what? So,
I could
so
only
like,
imagine like the song that went off in your head the first time you probably got the actual value of it and was able to see the value. Your
yes,
head was probably very thankful, because what I do know is when you're cutting things like kind to get exact, it's almost like your hand becomes like this. I don't know, it does something
listen,
totally different. Like how you can cut like a kid when you're kids and you just cut things and cut, that goes away. It becomes this anxiety thing, like because you're like taking your time
there
and
was
trying.
there was a running joke with my friends like I wouldn't trust you with a knife because always use an exacto blade, and they're like, how do you cut this thing so precise? I was like, I just do it. They're like, I am not gonna trust you with a knife. If I'm going to a war, I'm taking you because you and this knife is just like so that was a running joke until I started using the Cricut and I started like experimenting with different things. And I was just like, oh, it makes my life easier and it's not so bad.
And it actually, I have it that it still has that same personal effect, because like I said, I set the machine up. I even tried to do like some other products. It just was like, okay, I'm gonna just go back to the drawing board and exacto knife and cut my things, because so what I would offer you is to understand that you are still giving that personalized touch, and you
Yes.
are still gifted and talented with the Cricut, because just the layout on your that frosted cup with the verses, the between the colors, between the elements that you added into it, the pieces of vine and flowers and things like that, nature is always really important to me. And then that color palette, the color
Yes,
palette
yes,
is,
the colors. I love it. I
and
love
it's
it.
a year-round color palette. It's not one that makes me feel like, oh, this is summer, oh, this is fall. It
Correct,
actually has a color from like every
correct,
season, and it
correct.
has a very happy feel. Like, so
Exactly,
designing
exactly,
that is
exactly,
literally, I see the artistry in it. Like that is art. That's not
exactly.
just like, oh, let me make a tumbler, let me slap this thing on, or let
Yeah,
me just
yeah. When
put
I
this
when I
print that I got offline. And not that there's anything wrong with that, but that when you actually get to see an artist's work show up.
Yeah, when I commissioned the artist to create it, like her palette was more like a neutral tone. And I was like, so can I get this design and I want these colors? And then she sent me like two mock-up. I was like, the green is not green enough, the yellow is not yellow enough. So I kind of, and then she's like,
The
when
green wasn't greening and the yellow wasn't
wasn't
yellowing.
yellow enough. So when she finally sent it back to me, I was like, yes. So I have the two colors. I have the neutral colors for like people, the clientele that like more neutral items, and then I have these bright colors that just you just look at it and you just feel happy.
So for your customer out there who may be wondering, because this did cross my mind when you were showing the other tumblers, so are they able to get the cold tumbler in both the more neutral palette and the colorful palette? And are they able to get the hot and cold in the colorful palette as well as the neutral palette?
Yes, so all of my designs are available on the insulated tumbler, which is the metal one, which is like this one, right? All of them are available in either cup types, So if they want more, so this is a 17 ounce and this is
Okay.
a 20 ounce.
And how many ounces do you sell? The one that you said was your private, your personal tumbler that held the ice from yesterday. I'm like, that's sticking with me. The ice
Yes,
holding the
this
tumbler.
this is a mason jar tumbler. Yes, I do sell these as well. Yep. And then I have other ones that are, it's mason jar, but it's frosted glass. It's not insulated. It's just glass like this, but it has a handle and a
Okay.
closed top. So, say for instance, if you take out your straw on the other one, you can snap it closed. So if you turn it upside down, it won't leak out.
Oh
I
wow.
I didn't have space for everything, so I just brought what I could.
Overstood. And what days will you be with us at Juneteenth this year?
So I will be there on the Saturday, June 17th.
All right. And for those of you who don't know, for the Saturday of Juneteenth weekend, we will be out in Linden Park. So you definitely have to come out and check out Deborah of Sheet Natural Designs. And before as we start to wrap up, I would love for you to like summarize what you would like the customer to walk away with today, what you want them to know about your progress, and just a little summary. And then we'll also be sharing your social media and also any opportunities that you have. Like, do you partner up with people? Do you collaborate? Do you take custom orders? And are you vending anywhere else besides Juneteenth?
Yeah, so like currently I do business to business. Oh my gosh, it would have been good to have one of those products. So there's this juice and salad bar that I've partnered with. So I started out making staff t-shirts, right? And we've since transitioned to like making tumblers. So we have the mason jar tumbler without the handle. So the business requested those type for them to sell themselves with their branding on it. So I've done that as well. I've done business to business branding, whether it's t-shirts, whether it's tumblers, and now that customer is requesting like polo shirts. And now it's summertime is coming. You need the baby tees for the
Love
people
that.
that want the baby tees to show the bellies and stuff. There's that. There's
I
that.
love it.
And I do custom orders as well. Like I just recently did some Disney t-shirts for dance moms for a dance school. They're going to Disney and they wanted something unique. So I kind of showed them my process and they're like, oh my gosh, that's so detailed. You put every single piece together. It's so unique, and they appreciate it. So I do custom orders. I am doing business to business, you know and like I said, like the process for my sublimation, it's I've done research. It's all about baking and making sure there's no ghosting and all of that. I see you have a
I
question.
Yeah, I just wanted to oh, thank you. And it's so nice sometimes to get to use my church finger.
Mhm.
I don't attend services. I am I fellowship in my heart and in home and everywhere I travel, but it feels good to use that finger. I haven't used it in a very long time. Um but So when you had first shared, I wanted to just pause here before we keep moving on and close out because I really wanted to stop and pause and highlight on the business to business and the opportunities that lie there. Because I think when you first said that you were doing business to business branding, in my mind I said, oh, okay, she's helping others brand their businesses. I didn't, my mind didn't think to the fact that you're providing your products where people can actually have their brand on them. And that was super valuable to me as a artist because I know how us artists can be. When you're an artist, you can think, oh, you know what, I'm going to create this now, and think that something is so simple to add to kind of market your business, and it's not. And
And
you
you
do
don't have
need
to
to,
do it all by yourself.
that part, like, where do you get to actually, we were already talking about spending the time with creating, spending the time for the marketing. If you're also actually not, if we can't do post, how am I sitting down and doing tumblers and multiple tumblers to sell and all of these things? Maybe a couple for a staff. Maybe if I had a staff of 3, maybe I can handle that. But even then, are they going to get the quality tumbler that they can get if I stop and I say, hey, she Deborah.
So funny
I'll go.
story. So funny story about how the partnership came about, right? This is a place where I go to get my smoothies, right? And let me tell you, my smoothies are good. The smoothies are good, right? So I went in there and I was just like, I just kind of started the conversation. I was just like, I make, because this person is West Indian, this company is West Indian as well. So I was like, you know what? Let me just talk. And I'm not that type of person to just be like, okay, let me just spark up a conversation. So while I was paying for my drinks and stuff, and I was like, I make t-shirts and I have a website, and like if you're interested, we could, and he's like, what? You answered all my prayers. You answered all my prayers, because he was like, he was doing research, and these other people were saying that they needed this from him. And I'm just like, he's like, I'm gonna take a chance in you. And I was so surprised. Like at first he started out with like 3 shirts, right? And then next thing I know, he's like, I got a call, can you make 12? I was like, what? Can you?
Wow.
And that went from the 12 t-shirts to aprons, from 3 aprons to 12 aprons, from 12 tumblers to 24 tumblers. And I'm just like, oh,
Wow.
okay. And now he's like, now summer is coming, I'm thinking of bringing in shirts for my customers. So like, do the research, let me know how much it's going to cost, and let's have a conversation. So it was me kind of stepping outside myself, the shy person. I might not come off as shy, but I'm really I kind of just stepping out and say, okay, let me take a chance.
That's so beautiful. And so for me, that's a testimony of being obedient. We say we have faith, we trust, we pray, we do all of these things, but when we're guided, sometimes half the time, more than half the time I have it, when we're guided to something, we allow our own stories of something to shut us down. And in that moment, like it made my heart so happy when you said that he said that you answered all his prayers. Because to me, that was that divine, like the divine peak.
Mm-hmm.
Him doing his research and asking and wanting, and just because once we start to ask or explore, let it start to permeate our mind, he's
Mm-hmm.
going to support us and guide us. It's how much are we going to allow ourselves to be supported, and how much guidance are we actually really seeking? Because our egos sometimes, our egos and
Yeah.
our also our defenses sometimes, because a
Mm-hmm.
lot of
Mm-hmm.
times we're not really shy people. We're not born shy. We come out of the womb screaming and yelling in a room full of people.
People, that
But
is very
because,
true.
but because of life and the things that we experience, the
You kind
things
of
that,
shut
you know,
down.
we end up shutting down or hiding or masking who we are because of those things, because of we're not, supported, and don't look at things from the point of like, you were just being you listen to your heart, you listen to the God in your heart that said, fill this space with a little conversation today.
Yep, because it was just a casual conversation. I was so surprised when he's like, oh my gosh, you answered all my prayers. And then when I started telling him I make tumblers, he's like, oh my gosh, that is a product line I want to add. And then he's like, I want polos, I want this. And I was just like, okay, okay.
About it, I'm not gonna lie, I've never, like, I kind of do, the only turn off for me, actually, there's this oh, I'm not in my kitchen, I'm looking around like I'm in my kitchen. Out here in Atlanta, there's this Baba tea place that they have this like really cool like little plastic cup that you can actually reuse, with this top that has like a little piece that goes over the straw holder. It's not a super sturdy cup, but for the amount that you're paying for your bubble tea, you feel a little bit happier about what you're walking away with, instead
Because
of
you're
it
able
being
to
in some
use it.
styrofoam cup or just some
Mm-hmm.
clear plastic cup, which none of them are good for us. So I had it that this cup was probably recycled plastic and probably made biodegradable and a little bit better than other plastics.
Like,
I don't know,
mm,
mine,
right, right, right.
myself to just go ahead and go with it. But what I'm getting at is that in these places and spaces, the natural juice bar, I want to be able to get myself a frosted cup instead of having it, if I have the option of upgrading. Like, that's an amazing upgrade in a smoothie shop
Yes,
if you
yes.
really
And
look at it and
and
think about it. Because the only cups I've ever seen, and I don't care what smooth those people kings, the other smoothie place, like, not throwing their names out there, but there are some major brands that you're gonna get a branded styrofoam cup.
yeah, or the plastic mason jar type cups. Yeah.
And even then, they're not like, you don't see them as much as you see the other two types, the
Right, right.
expensive type. So being able, it's, I can tell you, in Starbucks and in Dunkin' Donuts, I've upgraded. I've bought that mug on the side because, number one, not only is it beautiful or has this dope design, it's also practical.
We are all testament to that because I have a bunch too. Until I discovered making my own and
Exactly. So what better?
adding my
What
personal
better
touch.
than being able to buy one from someone that looks like me? That, number one, I'm buying from someone that looks like me. Number two, I'm buying from a small business. And number three, I'm buying from two, like, a partnership in small business at that.
Exactly, exactly, exactly.
I
I'm
love
so
this
upset I
partnership.
don't
I
have
love
a
this
copy.
partnership. I love this partnership for you. And for some reason, and I could be wrong because I don't predict anybody's future or anything, but I do get these, like, churns in my belly when certain ideas come up. And I have it that this brand to branding is really going to be what skyrockets you. There's something about your connection and what matters to you, and what matters to you, not just for your business but for the other person's business. And I really have it that that's going to be the thing that really takes you off. Because if I sit here and I think about it, I'm like, well, I've seen people where they're like, yeah, I do custom orders, but I don't know the level of intention and even my mind in opening up and what's possible for even a person like me partnering with you. Right now, my back brain, the business brain, is back there churning, and it's like coming up and bubbling with these things. It's like, okay, well, now you know that when you're ready for branded things, because it's super easy to go on Google and search t-shirt makers, but you don't know what you're gonna get.
Good. Exactly, exactly,
You
exactly.
don't know what you're gonna get. They have the cookie cutter things that they'll sell you, the things for the back of the phone, the things that they'll brand for you, but you don't even know if it's gonna work.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's just things that people have. If I could think of the amount of times I've gone out to a expo or to something, and you have the people that are handing out, or even at my job, they come, the liquor companies come sometimes and they give out all these little things, but the quality of them, it's like, yeah, it's branded and it's making the person think of your brand, but I want something that's quality. Because when I think of
Mm.
somebody's brand and it's not really working, it's not really pulling me to your.
Yeah, yeah. You can't use it today and then tomorrow it's trash. No.
Yeah, it's reminding me of your brand, but it's not reminding me with a good memory.
Yeah, yeah. Yep.
So, for folks out there, I implore you, please reach out to Deborah if you're looking to have things created for your business. I say she is the go to person. I am looking forward to you returning again for us to even, because I think that these partnerships are going to grow. These partnerships are
You're
going
the
to grow.
second person to tell me that. The second person, maybe the third, to say, I think this you're gonna be like, you're gonna shoot off. And I was like, really?
I niche for you. And it's an opportunity also for you to begin releasing this shy story. Because at the top you shared with me that I'm throwing you out there. I'm throwing you under the bus, Deborah. So Deborah shared with me that she was nervous, and I told her, she's such a faithful sister that we can't have fear over faith, that we have to have faith over fear. And I love,
Wording.
I love it. I love it. So do I. And that personality, this person that comes out when you let all of that go, you let go of the nervousness, you let go of of even the, and I think that's probably what your partner was getting at as well. Because I have it, and I could be wrong, but I have it that you're a over researcher, over preparer, overthinker, over
Over
stressing.
everything.
Yeah. And when you let go of that space, look at the light. Like, I have chills right now. This is for you. Look at this. You have a testimony
Thank you, thank
in
you.
the comments. So we have a testimony on YouTube from Nicole Headley. She says she can vouch for Sheena Natural Designs, that she's always pleased with your products and that they're worth every penny.
Oh, thank you, Nicole. Yes, yes, she's one of my returning customers. Anything, she's like, "Can you do this? Can you do this?" Yes, yes, yes.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So I super look forward to you coming back and letting us know, because I know that there are going to be more relationships forged and more things developed. I have it that in your marketing and on your table for Juneteenth, you should have a flyer in one of those like little clear
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
things that is even specifically looking for a branding, looking for something, so that the people that are out there, because there are going to be countless amounts of small businesses passing by. So the opportunity to have to start your partnerships there are
Endless.
endless. And look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look, if you were close, I would punch Buddy and got my license on you. We say the words at the same time. I love when spirit comes in and takes guide of the
Yep.
space. And I feel like that's what happened here today, and it got us to get the information out that really is the growth in the company. The growth in the company is not just the added tumblers, it's not the added shirts, it's not the added products and the machinery. It's this level of one-on-one business that you can provide for people.
Yes, 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 yes.
Yeah, yeah. Look at that. We just fought. Look at that. So, Deborah, I know that your information is in the chat, but again, thank you for letting me interrupt you and bring this level of the conversation in, because I think we were supposed to go there. But again, summarize what you would like everyone to walk away with today. Share your social media and where they can find you. Share what day and where they can find you for Juneteenth. And then I'll have one last question for you when you're complete.
Okay, you can find me on Instagram and Facebook at Sheena Natural Designs. I also have a TikTok too. I don't make as much funny videos. My website is sheenanatural.com. For the Juneteenth festival event, I'll be there on June 17th all day until we close down. Just to take away, like, I take pride in my products. I take pride in my clientele. I take pride in my business to business partnerships. Sometimes you feel like giving up, but sometimes you have to rely on your community and just ask God for guidance, and it will all work out. Nothing before it's time. You might be like, oh, this is not happening, but it will happen when the time is right.
Ashe. Ashe, and I'm into that. And Deborah, one last question for you today. What exactly does Juneteenth mean to you?
It's all about community. It's all about looking back at history, looking at where we're coming from and where we are now, and the progress that has been made throughout time. We're not quite there yet, but it's still a stepping stone from what was.
Ashe. Ashe. We have voices to fight. We have some skin in the game.
Yeah.
Well, sis, it's been an absolute pleasure being here with you again today. I look forward to seeing you out in the park on the Saturday. And
thank you for having me.
Thank you. I will see you behind the stage.
All right. Bye.
All right, community. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for being here with us today. I really hope you enjoyed that conversation with Deborah of Sheena Natural Designs. And I hope to see you out in the park, in Linden Park on Saturday and Prospect Park on Sunday. Don't forget to like and subscribe all the pages, register for the Juneteenth events, keep your eye out for the Friday virtual health and wellness summit. And next week, we will have Quinita Haley, and she will be sharing everything about spirit fragrances, how it reflects the past, the present, and what's to come through in fragrances. So thank you guys, and I'll see you next week. Greetings, 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 and good afternoon, Juneteenth family. Welcome to another weekly edition of our Lunch and Learn.
E is exhaling, having an opportunity to breathe, to rest, to refill yourself and rejuvenate yourself, because no one can pour from an empty cup.
As you evolve and become more of yourself, you begin to attract the people that are there for you.
Amen.
So everything you need is in this space.
You have to learn from your mistakes. Once you make a mistake, oops, sit down, recoup, and then start over. And once you do that, you say, I got that.
See, Juneteenth means to me, I would definitely say empowerment and education.
When I experience it, it's like just coming together and, being a part of something bigger than myself, And
A new start, starting a new chapter, opportunity, new beginnings, all of that good stuff.